They blasted through stadiums, scored blockbuster scenes, and echoed in commercials worldwide. You know every note, but the name is a mystery. These tracks didn't just play, they defined moments, carved into our memory by sound alone. One riff, one beat, and the world remembers. Today, we uncover 15 legendary songs everyone recognizes, but almost no one can name. Get ready to rediscover what's been hiding in plain sight. Let's begin. One minute and 42 seconds that changed the guitar forever. Eruption isn't a song in the traditional sense, it's a solo that redefined what was possible. When Eddie Van Halen unleashed this explosion of tapping and speed, the rock world was never the same. There were no lyrics, no catchy chorus, just pure technique and fire. It felt like a dare, a sonic message saying, "This is the new standard." Guitarists everywhere tried to decode it, but few could replicate its raw perfection. Play it today and it still feels futuristic. It's not just notes, it's controlled chaos, energy bottled in under 2 minutes. Eruption didn't just make Van Halen famous, it made him immortal. Before lyrics ruled the charts, instrumentals could stop the world, and Apache did exactly that in 1960. Its twangy guitar and echoing tone created a mood that felt cinematic long before movies caught up. It was mysterious, powerful, and unlike anything else in pop music at the time. The Shadows didn't just play a song, they built an atmosphere. Every note sounded like a secret whispered through the radio. Decades later, Apache still pops up in films, commercials, and samplers, proving its lasting grip on culture. You may not know the name, but the moment it starts, you're hooked. Cool jazz had a moment, and Take 5 was its crown jewel. Recorded in 1959, it dared to be different with an unusual time signature that became unforgettable. That swinging piano riff and crisp drum solo turned complexity into pure pleasure. It was smooth, stylish, and smart music that made you feel sophisticated just listening to it. For many, it was the first time jazz sounded both challenging and effortlessly cool. Even now, the sound of Take 5 feels timeless. In coffee shops, playlists, and movie scores, it sneaks in like a familiar friend. You don't have to know the name, you feel it instantly. Few instrumentals can make you feel like you're flying in slow motion, but Chariots of Fire does it every single time. From the very first synth chords, it became the ultimate soundtrack for triumph. Composed for the film of the same name, it captured victory, hope, and quiet determination in 4 minutes of soaring sound. No lyrics, no voices, just pure emotion lifting you higher and higher. Play it today and you'll see why it has survived decades of parodies and homages. The name might slip your mind, but the melody, it's unforgettable. You know it. The moment those swirling synth notes begin, it's like an adrenaline shot straight to the soul. Baba O'Reilly wasn't just a rock song, it was an anthem for a restless generation. Most people call it Teenage Wasteland, thanks to that soaring chorus, but the real title hides quietly in the shadows. It's a track built on layers, hypnotic keyboards, pounding drums, and a voice that feels both defiant and hopeful. Half a century later, it still makes playlists, movie soundtracks, and stadium speakers shake. The name might fade, but the feeling, it never does. One word, that's all it takes for this track to explode in your mind. Tequila, this instrumental with a single shouted lyric, became one of the most recognizable songs of the late 50s. Its swinging saxophone riff and fun, party-ready rhythm made it impossible to sit still. People didn't just listen, they danced, they laughed, they shouted along. This was rock and roll, letting loose before the world knew what was coming. Even now, it sneaks into commercials, movie scenes, and sports arenas. You might forget the name, but the second that horn hits and the voice yells, "Tequila," you're all in. It's the ultimate mood booster hiding behind the simplest word. A simple riff on an organ, and suddenly everything feels cooler. Green Onions was not loud, not flashy, but it oozed confidence and swagger. It was smooth enough for a smoky bar, yet bold enough for the big screen. This track didn't need a voice. The groove spoke for itself. Each note was like a wink, a smirk, a slow nod that said, "Yeah, you know what?" This island, it turned background music into a main character. Decades later, Green Onions still scores movies, ads, and playlists across the globe. You might never remember the name, but that organ riff, it's burned into music history forever. Play those opening bars, and the mood changes instantly. Soul Bossa Nova is pure energy, a playful, jazzy ride that feels like sunshine bottled in sound. It made its mark in the 60s and kept popping up everywhere. Films, television, even pop culture spoofs. The blend of vibrant horns and bouncy rhythm gave it an unmistakable personality. It wasn't background music, it was a vibe, a mood that made every room lighter. Quincy Jones didn't just compose a song, he built an atmosphere of fun and sophistication. People rarely know its name, but the moment it plays, they start smiling. This is music that sneaks into your memory and refuses to leave. A lone voice hums over sweeping strings, and suddenly, you're standing in the middle of a cinematic showdown. The ecstasy of Gold is not just a piece of music, it's drama, tension, and beauty all rolled into one. Morricone turned a Western soundtrack into one of the most iconic compositions ever recorded. Its haunting melody feels endless, a slow build towards something huge, something inevitable. Even if you've never seen the film, you know this sound. It's been echoed in concerts, sampled in songs, and burned into the DNA of epic storytelling. You may forget its name, but you'll never forget how it makes you feel. Alive, breathless, and ready for the impossible. That's the magic of music at its peak. One lightning-fast guitar riff and your pulse jumps. Miserlou is surf rock at its wildest, aggressive, exotic, and unforgettable. Dick Dale didn't just play guitar, he attacked it, creating a sound that felt like riding a wave at full speed. This track exploded again decades later, thanks to a certain cult film, proving its timeless appeal. No words, no verses, just pure adrenaline in musical form. It's a track that moves like fire, never slowing down for anyone. The name might slip your mind, but the sound? Impossible to forget. Play it once, and you'll know why it's one of the greatest instrumental tracks of all time. A bass drop that sparked a global storm. Harlem Shake wasn't a lyrical masterpiece it didn't need to be. One beat, one drop, and the internet exploded with videos that turned this track into a cultural phenomenon. Its power came from that sharp contrast. Calm, almost awkward beginnings, then total chaos unleashed. The track didn't just play in headphones, it took over living rooms, schools, and stadiums. Years later, even if you've forgotten the name, those 30 seconds of madness live on. Play it today, and you can feel the viral energy all over again. A playful synth riff, instantly addictive. Axel F became the sonic emblem of 80s cool, thanks to its starring role in Beverly Hills Cop. One listen, and you're in neon lights, fast cars, and big sunglasses. This wasn't a traditional hit, no vocals, no verses, just a funky, futuristic melody that hooked millions. It was proof that a keyboard could rule the charts and dominate pop culture. Decades later, the riff is everywhere. Remixes, commercials, even mobile ringtones. You might not remember the title, but the second it starts, you know the vibe. It's pure 80s magic, packed in a few unforgettable notes. Complex, technical, and hypnotic, YYZ is a masterclass in instrumental rock. Rush crafted a track so distinctive that even without lyrics, it became a fan favorite and a symbol of progressive brilliance. Its shifting rhythms and soaring bass lines make it as thrilling to listen to as it is challenging to play. Every note feels like a puzzle piece snapping into place with perfect precision. Even listeners who don't know the name recognize that addictive opening pattern. It's a code, a signal, an identity. YYZ isn't just music, it's an experience reserved for those who love music that dares. Smooth, mysterious, and endlessly sampled. Nautilus began as a quiet jazz experiment and became one of the most influential tracks in modern music. Its deep grooves and airy keyboards gave birth to beats across hip-hop and electronic worlds. Bob James didn't write an anthem, he created a foundation. Every note feels like a secret message, subtle yet unforgettable. It's the sound of sophistication with an undercurrent of rebellion. Even if you don't know its name, you've heard its DNA in countless hits. Nautilus is proof that some songs live forever, even in disguise. A haunting steel guitar that floats like a dream. Sleepwalk isn't just a song, it's a mood, a midnight drive, a lonely heart under a neon glow. Released in 1959, it wrapped longing and tenderness in pure sound. No words were needed. Its melody speaks a language of nostalgia, one that still tugs at anyone who listens. It's soft, bittersweet, and eternal, the soundtrack of a memory you can't quite name. Decades later, it's still everywhere: films, love scenes, quiet playlists. You might forget the title, but the feeling? It stays, like the echo of a slow dance in an empty room. 15 songs, 15 sounds that shape moments without needing a single name to survive. These melodies live in stadiums, movies, playlists, and in the corners of your memory, hidden but unforgettable. Which one surprised you the most? Which track pulled you back to a moment you didn't know you'd missed? If these songs made you smile, made you feel, or made you remember, hit subscribe and join me on the next journey into the music you thought you'd forgotten. Because sometimes, the greatest hits are the ones you can't even name.